Attention passionate New York Giants fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on New York Giants' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true New York Giants fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and New York Giants fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. Let's talk about a move that's been flying under many people's radar but could have some serious implications for the Giants' roster and their future. It's about the recent signing of Michael Thomas, a veteran wide receiver by the New York Giants. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, Michael Thomas. Isn't he a bit long in the tooth? Isn't he coming off some injuries? Well, yes, Thomas is 32 years old, and his career has seen its share of ups and downs, especially with injuries that limited his playing time in recent seasons. But here's the thing, in the context of the Giants, especially after the Malik Neighbors injury, this signing could be a real game-changer for their receiving core, at least in the short term, and perhaps even more than that. Let's start with the big picture. The Giants, as we all know, have been trying to rebuild their roster, especially on offense. They've invested in young talent, but the receiver room has been a bit of a question mark. Malik Neighbors' injury, which ended his season prematurely, created a void at the WR1 position. Now, the Giants don't need a veteran for a long-term fix right now. They have plenty of developing players, and Jackson Dart is still in the process of finding his footing as the starting quarterback. What they need is depth, reliability, and someone who can step in and contribute immediately, even if it's just for a season or two. That's exactly where Michael Thomas comes into play. You see, Thomas, despite his age, still has some gas left in the tank. His last season in the NFL, which was 2023, saw him produce 39 catches for 448 yards in just 10 games, starting 7 of those contests. These aren't eye-popping numbers, but they're solid considering his injury history and the fact that he was working his way back into shape. More importantly, when healthy, Thomas has shown that he can be a reliable target. Back in 2019, for example, he was a dominant force with 149 catches for 725 yards and 9 touchdowns. Those numbers are from his prime, and while we're far from that now, they serve as a reminder of what he's capable of when fully healthy. Now, let's talk about the style of play. Many of you remember Thomas primarily as a slot receiver, a guy who can beat defenders with his route running and hands. But interestingly enough, towards the end of his time with the Saints, he was playing more on the outside. During the 2023 season, he was on the outside for about 71.5% of his snaps, according to PFF. That's a significant shift from his earlier role, where he was more of a slot guy. So what does that mean for the Giants? Well, it suggests that Thomas can be versatile. He can line up outside if needed, providing the Giants with a veteran presence who can potentially take some pressure off the younger receivers like Beaux Collins, who is currently viewed as one of the next men up on the depth chart. You see, Beaux Collins, an undrafted rookie, is talented but still raw. The Giants need someone with experience, someone who can help Dart develop by drawing coverage and making contested catches. Even if Thomas isn't the player he once was, his experience and route-running ability can serve as a valuable asset in helping the team grow and possibly even compete in some of their remaining games this season. It's not about winning a Super Bowl this year for the Giants. Honestly, at this point, that's a long shot, but about building for the future, developing Dart, and creating a culture where young players can lean on veterans. And let's not forget the nature of NFL contracts late in the season. This signing is likely a cheap, one-year deal, probably with some incentives, and that makes perfect sense for the Giants. They're not committing long-term, but they're bringing in a guy who can contribute immediately without a huge financial risk. It's a smart move, especially given the current state of their receiver room. With Neighbors out, they needed someone who could step up without the need for a major investment. Thomas fits that mold perfectly. Now, I know some of you might be skeptical. You're thinking, well, he's been injury-prone and he's not in his prime anymore. Valid points. But take a moment to consider the bigger picture. The Giants are in a bit of a transitional phase. They're trying to see if Dart can develop into their franchise quarterback. They're assessing their young talent and trying to stay competitive despite some injuries and setbacks. Adding a veteran like Michael Thomas even if just for a year, gives them a piece with proven NFL experience, someone who has played at a high level and can teach the younger guys how to work, how to prepare, and how to fight through adversity. Furthermore, Thomas's ability to play outside and in the slot gives the Giants some flexibility. They can move him around to create mismatches, and he can be a security blanket for Dart in critical situations. Even if Thomas isn't lighting up the stat sheet every week, his presence alone can elevate the offense by drawing attention from defenses and opening up opportunities for other players. It's about creating a more dynamic, unpredictable attack, which the Giants desperately need right now. I also want to highlight that, despite the focus on the offense, this move fits into a broader philosophy. The Giants have been trying to re-establish their identity on both sides of the ball, and bringing in a veteran receiver with playoff experience helps set a standard of professionalism and resilience. They've seen what Thomas can do when healthy, and even in limited action last year, he managed to be somewhat productive. That's more than enough reason for the coaching staff and management to see value in bringing him in. Looking at the NFC East as a whole, this move could have ripple effects. The division has been competitive, with teams like the Eagles, Cowboys, and Commanders all vying for supremacy. The Giants, by making smart moves like this, are trying to stay in the fight. It's about building depth, developing young talent, and staying competitive until they can make a more significant splash in the offseason. But right now, this signing signals that they're committed to fighting, to developing Dart, and to giving their team the best chance to stay relevant in a tough division. It's also worth noting the context of the NFL season at this point. As we approach the mid-season mark, the market for veteran free agents is pretty quiet, especially for players like Thomas who aren't in their prime. That means this deal, if it happens, should be relatively straightforward. A low-cost, one-year deal that could pay dividends if Thomas stays healthy and finds his rhythm again. For the Giants, it's a low-risk, high-reward scenario, and in the NFL, that's often what separates successful teams from the rest. So in summary, this move isn't just about filling a roster spot. It's about smartly adding a veteran who can contribute immediately and help the team in multiple ways. It's about giving Dart a reliable target, providing leadership and experience, and maintaining some level of competitiveness in a challenging season. The Giants might not be favorites for a deep playoff run this year, but they're building for something bigger, and this signing could be a small but important piece of that puzzle. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest New York Giants news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, New York Giants fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this signing? Do you think Michael Thomas can still be a valuable asset for the Giants this season? Are you excited about his potential to help develop Dart and mentor the young receivers? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Giants. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Giants news. This is a team that's always evolving, always fighting, and always giving us something to talk about. Thanks for being here, and as always, let's go Giants!